a train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. In an earlier story, I mentioned how beneficial it was to Sodor when the Culdifell Railway helped out the Royalty Trekking Travel Group. I'm happy to say this boon was repeated following the CFR's grand opening. Thousands of people visited the line in the first month, including a bevy of reporters. The reviews they published turned Sodor into one of Britain's destination hotspots, ensuring legions of tourists flooded the island. Every shop in town reported a huge uptake in business, and we were worked off our wheels handling extra trains. On the branches, we managed quite well. The main line, not so much, largely because of Boko. This isn't me blaming him, far from it. He was always willing to do the jobs assigned to him, but his dodgy motor meant his performance was inconsistent. When his system didn't overheat, it burned out. When it didn't burn out, it struggled to start altogether. BR chalked up these issues to teething problems, which they clearly weren't, and kept the Class 28 in service. It was sad to watch as Boko tried his hardest and always felt such shame whenever he broke down and needed to be rescued. Fortunately, we all understood and didn't mock the poor chap. Well, almost all of us. Alright there, James. Yes, brilliant, Toby. Except in addition to all my other jobs, I have to cover for that useless buzzbox Boko. Ever since he showed up, the line's become a real pig's breakfast. What pigs? Be fair, James. It's not his fault he was given a dodgy motor. True, but he should learn to tough it out. Develop some perseverance and stamina. We'd take our trains on a single cylinder if we had to. You know, if blokes like him are the future, Britain's railways are doomed. While I don't agree with your attitude, you do make a point about BR. I hear they're already placing orders for diesels that haven't even passed testing. What kind of backwards thinking is that? You'd never do that sort of thing with a steamy. No, but maybe our fears are unfounded. Maybe they'll be perfectly serviceable, and pigs might fly. What pigs? Oh, forget the pigs, Eric. It's the diesels we're talking about. Have they got the pigs? As to Boko, I'm sure the Fat Controller will find a way to make him a useful addition to the island. Oh, and a pig's ear, but there's no... Eric! There are no pigs. It's a figure of speech. I don't know what that means. Never mind. I have to go. Bye. Hello, Eric. What's the matter? You look rather downcast. No, I'm just a bit sad. I've noticed others have been saying never mind to me a lot recently. Usually after I've said I don't get something. It's like they're trying to fob me off because they think I'm too dumb to understand. If that is the case, they're wrong for doing so. All the same, have you ever asked to have something explained to you that you didn't understand? If not, you should. Asking questions is how we learn. Okay, what's a figure of speech? It's a word or phrase that has a different meaning to its literal definition. Like when someone is going bald, you could say a little thin on top instead. It's a way of being subtle, and sometimes it's used for dramatic effect. Sounds like a real roundabout way of saying something. Yes, but it does add a bit of flavour to a conversation. Chocolate, strawberry or vanilla? Well done, old boy. That's a good one. What is? Oi, Eric. What? Me and Ben are busy. Could you do us a favour and run that lot up to the pits? Oh no, I'm not falling for the same trick twice. Why not? Yeah, you usually do. I say, could you two do me a favour? What? Shut the hell up! Okay. I'm a failure. No, you're not. You've just been dealt a bad hand. I know all about that. You do? Aye. I was built with too small of a firebox, so I had trouble building up steam. I too constantly needed help, but after a rebuild, I was as good as new. I don't think BR's willing to pay for that. If they're willing to pay £345 million to dieselize the network, they can divert a few thousand to fix up one of their prototypes. If they don't, maybe I can become a case study for the Revenant theory. What do you mean? Earlier today I had some people asking me some real strange questions, like, Do you feel like you've been here before? Do you remember any previous lives? And weirdest of all, do we look familiar? I answered no to all these, but they kept asking until... Fizzling fuses, Henry! What's the matter with you? Why'd you stop like that? Henry? Henry, are you listening? Henry? Emily? I can't believe it! I mean, I knew you worked here, but I didn't expect to see you so soon. I didn't expect to see you at all. What are you doing here? Aren't you happy to see me? Of course I am. I'm over the moon. Just flabbergasted. I can't believe it's actually you. It's been so long. How are you? I'm in fine fiddle. I'm here on a rail excursion giving some tourists a unique ride to Sodor. This place has become quite the attraction, and I can see why. It's lovely here. Aye, I wouldn't live anywhere else. How long are you here for? A few days, so we'll have time to catch up. That'd be great. I can't wait. Me neither. I have to go. I'll see you later. Bye. Goodbye. I can't believe it. All right there, Henry. Better than I've been in years, Boko. You have no idea how happy I am right now. I take it she's an old friend? You could say that. What should I say? How about move it or we'll be late? Crikey, the express. We'll have to leg it. I already know what the snail's going to say. Nice of you to show up, Square Wheels. Ah, shut your face, Snail. Don't call me Snail. Don't call me Square Wheels. It wouldn't have mattered if I were on time. This place would have been a pigside regardless. If you lot bothered to keep to the schedules, I'd have an easier time keeping things organised. Of course, it's always someone else's fault. Take some responsibility for once. Don't talk to me about taking responsibility, Henry. I always have. Like when? But forget it. I don't have to explain myself to you. Hello! Oh, look, it's the Witless Wonder. Where? Eric, can't you tell when someone's insulting you? Why? Are you insulting me now? There's my answer. Take your train round back. I'll shun it later, which in your jargon means next week. The way you crawl about, that's how long it'll take. Too fast or too slow. There's no pleasing anyone. What do you mean? Nothing. Go away. Leave me alone. I dare say you hit a nerve, Eric. His outburst sounded like the voice of experience. Who cares? He's a complete cad. That doesn't sound like Sheffield. You know him? He and I worked together in the Midlands. When he wasn't shunting, he was running local trains. In fact, some of the lads called him Lightning, he moved so fast. You sure you don't mean his twin brother? I know he has one. Definitely not. Glenn spent most of his time working in a coal mine, and the Sheffield I knew was a very polite and helpful bloke. Nothing like the one you're describing. I'll try and have a word with him before I leave. Get to the bottom of this. Don't bother. Others have tried reaching out to him only to have their heads bitten off. Spare yourself the trouble and let the prat wallow in his own misery. Sorry, James, but I can't do that. Why not? Because if she did, I wouldn't be here. So this is the same Emily you worked with on the Great Northern Railway? You've heard about me? Indeed. The way Henry tells it, you're the sole reason he persevered through the handicap of his old shape. I wouldn't say that. It's true. Whenever I broke down, you were the one who often came to my rescue. You always knew what to say. You gave just as well. Remember that time the yardmaster said an antique like me would be more useful as a pumping station? You not only wished at him, you refused to take your next train to comfort me. No one talks to you like that, and I'll fight to the death and beyond anyone who does. Am I sensing something more profound than friendship? James, we're married. Excuse me? I never mentioned that? Ugh, how embarrassing. How is that even possible? I didn't know we could get married. It's more the fact there's nothing that says we can't. Since Emily and I were always there for each other, it wasn't hard for us to fall in love. One day the local vicar popped by and we joked about getting married. He said he was willing to officiate, so we held the ceremony right there in the shed with our crews as witnesses. I relished every moment we spent together and was heartbroken when they transferred me here. Me too. But I must say, you look so handsome with your new shape. And you haven't aged a day. What happened to you after I left? I was moved to Glasgow, then various places around Scotland before winding up in the Midlands. I left there about 4 years ago to run goods trains between London and Brighton. A few months ago I developed some steaming problems and couldn't keep to my old pace. So they've had me doing rail tours. Do you enjoy it? It has its perks, but there's no real challenge to the job, and I do miss the rigours of working life. Maybe we can ask the Vet Controller to keep you on. Sounds like you'd be a fine substitute for Boko. I'll also be sure to ask why he didn't say you were coming. He had to know. I'm sure he did, Henry. He likely wanted it to be a surprise. That was indeed the case, hence why he didn't mention it to our number 3. But in turn, Sir Topham, like the rest of us, was surprised to learn of their marriage. This revelation became quite the popular talking point, and I hear a few awkward conversations were had as a result. I'm very pleased to say they were given a lot more time together than initially thought. Bogo's repairs took a while to complete owing to a shortage of spare parts. The Fat Controller arranged for Emily to fill this vacancy. Her years of experience in passenger and freight work made her invaluable, and the relatively short distance of the main line meant her steaming problems weren't an issue. She also reconnected with Sheffield, but she had as much luck with the grumpy austerity as the rest of us. I suppose now would be a good time to talk about his tenure as Barrow's shunter. Since he took over, the yard's performance had gone downhill. His abrasive personality and quick temper should be self-evident by now, but I probably should discuss his work ethic. In short, it was rubbish. He moved with all the speed of a snail, hence his unflattering nickname. His languid pace often meant trains weren't organised or sidings were unavailable to accommodate incoming stock. And when the chaos reached critical mass, some of us had to stay on at the yard for days at a time to get it back in order. Are you trying to set a personal best? What are you on about? In the time it's taken you to shunt this lot, I've gotten 3 sidings worth of trains ready. I used to think you were slow, now I reckon you're lazy. I am not lazy, I'm careful. More like overly cautious. You do your job, I'll do mine. At the moment, his job has been to do your job. No one's talking to you, Isle of Man. For the last time, you lout. My name is Reginald. Whatever. Your train's ready. You certainly took your time. Ah, shut it. Pick it up and go. We'll need this sign clear for the express. No, we won't. I cleared out one around back by condensing the next 2 returning goods trains. So I saw. Very well done. You could learn a thing or 10 from Bruce Sheffield, like how to throw trucks up the back of unsuspecting engines or pick up quarantine cattle. Blown out your smokebox, snail. That was a long time ago. You don't ever escape your past. Very dramatic. Now would you kindly move so I can collect these trucks? I'm running late as it is and we'll have to make up for lost time. Careful not to go too fast. What would you know about going too fast? Honestly, why are you so slow? Performance issues. He was built on the cheap. That's why they call his class austerity. And I suppose they mold the 08s on you because BR wants to find the children. Get Pratt. Can you believe that? What would he know about going too fast? It's preposterous. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Huh? Never mind. No, what's that mean? You say that to describe someone's hypocrisy. It's not hypocritical if it's good advice. You said you were running late, but I can't help but notice you arrived on time. Is there a reason for that? Maybe. I see. I'll let you off with a warning this time, and here it is. A schedule is no excuse for recklessness. You wouldn't want to do a Sutton. Pardon? Sorry, service slang. We say that when a train's derailed due to speeding. Granted, I'm not in the fire and rescue service, but I've never heard that before. It's fairly new. It came about after a really bad accident near the town of Sutton. Where's that? The Midlands. Eric, what's wrong? I need to talk to Sheffield. What for? I think I just figured something out. You said this was my next train. It is. It's not. Yours is around front. You said this was for James. I said this was for the train after James. A load of vegetables for Henry. Sheffield? Speaking of vegetables, what do you want? Can I talk to you for a minute? Please take more than a minute. Give us some peace. Shut it, Scrap Iron. What is it? Maybe we should go somewhere else. Come on, Eric. Spit it out. Okay. Did you have an accident in the Midlands and was it because you were speeding? Are you off your nut, Eric? Snail speeding? That's more ridiculous than... Wait, did you? Yes. Yes, I did. Bad? Very, very bad. And no, I don't want to talk about it. Why not? If you ask, you obviously know. I don't. It was just a suspicion. What happened? You really want to know? Yeah, I do. All right. Good morning, Emily. Beautiful day we're having. Aye, we should enjoy it while we can. They're forecasting rain later on. It'll take more than rain to dampen my day. So it seems. Why are you so jovial? Because I've set a personal best. I've arrived 6.5 minutes early, and it was a terrifying experience. Don't be such a namby-pamby. I was perfectly safe. Lightning does strike twice, and I'm glad it does, as it gives me the chance to say goodbye. Goodbye? Are you leaving? I'm afraid so. I'm being transferred to London to work the line between there and Brighton. How exciting. You'll be wonderful. It should go without saying I'll miss you. Can you say it anyway? No. That's me, and away I go. Bye, Sheffield. Hope to see you again someday. You too, Emily. You too. Oi, Sheffield. Yes, Ron. What can I do for you? You can help organise the yard. The regular shunter's out of action, and we have 3 trains that need to go out. No worries. Happy to help. Hello, Wendell. What's the matter? You're looking a little green, and not in a good way. I've got severe boiler ache. Should you be working? Probably not, but there was no one else who could take this train. That's not true. Oh no, I couldn't ask you to do it. You're not asking, I'm volunteering. Where's it going? The harbour. It has to be delivered by noon. Even you'll be hard-pressed getting there on time. Challenge accepted. Are you absolutely sure? Of course I am. Go have a good washout, then you'll feel a different engine. The good Lord was paying attention when he made you, Sheffield. Thank you. A man died when I crashed into that car, and my crew suffered horrific injuries. I pled guilty to the many crimes I was charged with and was given 30 days in Railgate. When I got out, I was terrified to go back to work. I didn't dare return to my old speed and started doing things more slowly, but I overcompensated. This frustrated staff and engines alike. I tried to explain why, but they didn't want to hear it. Having my feelings ignored like that made me angry, so I started lashing out. This drove away my friends and gave management an excuse to transfer me. I knocked about several locations as I just couldn't shake this surly attitude I'd developed, and my sluggish speed, I couldn't break it no matter how much I wanted to. I don't ever want to run the risk of killing someone ever again. I know how you feel. You do? Yes. Before coming to Sodor, I caused an explosion that killed dozens of people and my girlfriend. That wasn't your fault. Doesn't change the fact I triggered it. And killing that man was my fault. I should have known better than to speed in the rain. So you can't know how I feel, James. I know what guilt feels like. The shame, the embarrassment. You spend endless nights wondering, what could I have done differently? Why did this happen? And drive yourself mad trying to think up answers. I'm right, aren't I? Yes, you are. Did you get over it? No, the memory still haunts me, but I've learned to live with it thanks to the support of my friends. That gives you a leg up on me. We can be your friends. After everything I've said, why would you want to? Because it's the right thing to do. What do you say? Well, I guess we could give it a try. By the way, how'd you find out about my accident? I pieced it together from what some of the others said.
Hang on, you figured something out?
That's right, Bruce. Me. I'm not completely stupid.
Okay. Sorry for thinking you were.
Me too. No worries. I'm so glad this went as good as it did. I was worried it'd turn into a real pig's breakfast. When word got around about Sheffield's past, we were once again dumbstruck by such a thunderbolt revelation. One by one, he apologized to us. He also started seeing Mickey for counseling, which did wonders for the austerity. His work ethic improved dramatically along with his pace. Barrow soon became a model of efficiency, and the trains ran like clockwork. I won't say Sheffield himself became completely amiable. Though he was far less abrasive and rude, he can still be a rather blunt and grumpy chap. But that's just his way, and we've come to accept it. To this day, he's a firm friend, much like Emily. Before I go into detail there, I need to talk about Boko. He would be repaired, but not on Sodor. He was returned to the manufacturer before being reassigned, but, I'm sorry to say, his performance continued to be very mixed. Indeed, the Class 28s were something of an embarrassment for British Railways, like several other units they would build. Rest assured, I'll be discussing those in future stories, which will include the day Boko came back to the island. Returning to Emily, she became a permanent addition to Sodor. She and Henry were absolutely delighted by this, and they remain together still. Though they've bickered and argued like the old married couple they are, they're nonetheless a loving, faithful pair. The Stirling-class engine continued to be a big help, though her steaming problems did flare up later that year, and unfortunately they would almost cost the railway a very important job. But that is a story for another day.